I ain't doing nothing. The many meanings of criminology. Criminology has many meanings, but at its widest and most commonly accepted, it is taken to be the study of crime, criminals, and criminal justice. There are many different approaches to criminology, and the subject itself has been shaped by many different academic disciplines. This course focuses on sociology and criminology. It outlines the distinctiveness of a sociological approach to crime and suggests how this differs from other approaches. What does criminology mean to you? Why have you chosen to study it? Whatever your reasons, you are not alone. Criminology is a fast-growing subject attracting thousands of students across the world. The criminal justice industry is, for better or worse, expanding at a similar rate as ideas continually change about how crime should be defined, how it should be dealt with, and how all this should be measured and financed. Daily life in many parts of the world is closely influenced by crime. Many newspapers, TV schedules, websites, films, books, and computer games are built around crime stories of various kinds. This course offers a sociological view of these and other developments. What counts as a criminological topic? Criminology is relatively new as a degree subject, but it began at least 250 years ago. Since then, it has been shaped by philosophers, psychologists, anthropologists, psychiatrists, medics, and lawyers, as well as by sociologists, social theorists, cultural analysts, and historians. As Zender observes, one of criminology's greatest strengths is its disciplinary hybridity. Any study of crime must involve the study of law. Criminology explores the bases and implications of criminal laws, how they emerge, how they work, how they are violated, and what happens to violators. But we know that laws vary from time to time and from place to place. Laws are relative and always historically shaped. Even something as seemingly universally condemned as killing others has moments when it is acceptable, e.g., in a war. Many criminologists believe, therefore, that they should not be confined by the bounds of law. This would make criminology a very traditional, orthodox, and even conservative discipline. Rather, criminologists should also be able and willing to take on wider matters. The most common form of crime around the world is property crime, or different kinds of theft. Clearly, however, there is much more to criminology than the study of theft. As you will see, although we focus on current laws in this course, we also include an array of areas that are not quite so clearly defined by them, such as crimes against human rights, damage to the environment, hate crimes, and some state crimes. To include these kinds of areas is to maintain a broad vision of forms of order and disorder, and the power relations that uphold these. It is arguably this broad vision that characterizes a more sociological approach to crime. By contrast, psychosocial and biomedical approaches have tended to focus more closely on individual dispositions and personal motivations in relation to crime, and much greater attention to physical, emotional, and cognitive issues. In terms of criminal justice interventions, they have tended to be linked to evidence gathering and to the design or evaluation of strategies aiming to change criminal or chaotic behavior. In this sense, they have viewed criminology as a more expert-based forensic science. This leads some to conclude that they are more grounded in the realities of crime than sociologists who work with a more general approach to crime and less specific notions of disorder. This course sets out what a sociologist, while respecting this view, might say in defense. Criminological methods. In the same way that different disciplines focus on different criminological topics, they also favor different kinds of research methods, depending on their orientation and training. A criminologist might use anything from psychological testing to global crime statistics, or from life stories to media analysis. Lecture 2 outlines the main research methods used within sociological criminology, although we aim to illustrate how these methods have been used in different studies discussed across the course. Different research methods often result directly from different approaches to knowledge. The ways in which we choose to find out about the world, which can be called our epistemology, are linked to our views of what we think might be relevant, what it might be linked to, and why it matters. Some criminologists make very orthodox claims to be scientists, observing, testing, measuring, and trying to produce law-like statements around crime. We will meet some of this work in Lecture 2 and 3, where we introduce positivism and experimental criminology. However, other criminologists do not claim to be scientific in this way. For instance, in 1958, G.B. Volt published a text called Theoretical Criminology. Here, he was simply concerned with laying out major ways of theorizing crime, rather than with testing these. Likewise, when Ian Taylor, Paul Walton, and Jock Young published The New Criminology in 1973, their aim was not to make a scientific study, but rather to make space for a new critical stance. More recently, Jack Katz, 1988, and Jeff Farrell, 1998, have used cultural criminological methods to analyze the seductions or attractions of crime, risk-taking and thrill-seeking. So, as we shall see, the study of crime takes researchers in a number of different and often conflicting directions.